Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday, and welcome to another episode of Tea and Coffee with Paula and
Jay. Good morning, everybody. God, she is a wonderful woman because she's married this pale guy. As we're playing around with the lighting all this morning, we realized the problem probably is not enough sun.
You are white, way too white.
I'm white and pale. I'm doing my best. Hopefully, this camera, this one
Yeah,
here,
you
stays
stay
on
alive.
today. You stay on today. Maybe we don't talk about cell phones today.
We don't talk about cell phones. No, no, no. For all the people who have young children, they know that.
Oh, we all
that
know that
tune.
song for sure.
Yeah.
Especially, because it's been played, 20 dozen times or so.
Numerous.
But thanks to everybody for all their comments from yesterday's episode. A lot of people really appreciated that information on technology. I received no pushback on it because I'm not incorrect about my activities and experience. No, it's not like that at all. We do take feedback a lot. We do, people are shy. They certainly share it with us.
Yeah.
And but there's a lot of thanks for yesterday. Talking about the tech. Corey shared out the episode. So he also shared out the part where we didn't necessarily align fully with his acceptance portion of it, but I think he probably had his thoughts expand a little bit on really what is a big deal.
Right.
When you install an app, it's a big deal. So maybe a lot of people had a good takeaway from that. And I'm curious how many people are going to come back to that episode when phones are free and other things are happening that we talked about. We said come back to this episode. So, we got some good feedback on that one. And also the Corey interview.
Yeah, I like the Corey interview. I liked it a lot too. It's for someone who didn't grow up in Canada and didn't grow up with the history and the turbulence of what happened, may not have happened in the residential schools. I found it very interesting. I feel like I can't speak to it a lot, so all I really do is sit back and listen and get the information and listen to the points of view.
That's actually a question I was going to ask you during the interview, and it kind of slipped my mind. We ran out of time. Was as someone who's been here for 20 years now, you're Canadian. You went the legal way. You didn't jump a fence or marry anybody for it.
Yes, that's right. I got my citizenship before we got married, folks. Got it in March 2008, and we got married August 2008.
I have to share it. As we're driving down the QEW, we're just going back
to work.
Back to work. Yeah, because it was after getting your citizenship ceremony done.
Yeah.
And I asked her, I said, what are you more excited about, the passport or the wedding? And your answer was?
The wedding. Listen. Obviously overjoyed. Can't wait to marry you. But being a Nigerian, where you've needed a visa, other than traveling within most of the African nations, if you want to go anywhere, you need a visa. To get a visa, you've got to pre-book everything, prepay for everything, show financial statements so that you can go to whichever country you want to go to and show you got proof of funds, take care of yourself, accommodations all sorted. So not having to deal with all that palaver because I'll have a Canadian passport, and there's many nations you can travel to with just no visa, or you get the visa at the port of entry. It's because we like to travel too. So having that done and dealt with was a relief. But yes, wedding.
The wedding. Yep, I'll remember that one until the very end. The wedding. And for a period of time when Paula had both passports, Nigerian and Canadian, she actually could enter more countries than I could.
Yeah, because under the ECOWAS, which is the agreement that a lot of the African nations have within the continent of Africa, where there are many countries within it. There's an agreement where you don't need a visa to travel.
Very cool. So as a person that eventually got her wedding,
yes.
What was your thoughts about hearing about the residential? The first time, not yesterday, of course.
Okay, the first time
we started hearing the stuff going around residential schools and stuff.
Gosh, that's terrible. What an awful thing to happen in your history.
And then as time went on, and it just kept getting repeated, different locations, numbers expanded.
Don't forget the numerous Prime Minister apologies that I've got to witness as well over the course of being in Canada. And I don't want to dismiss it. But I am of the mindset, I think, of many others as well. Let's see some bodies, because you made the very good comment.
See them.
No, but you made the comment that so if they're not there, we can heal as a nation. If they are there, we can heal as a nation. So I think that's from my point of view. I'm like, well, let's now see. We've found locations. We're saying this is where this so and so happened. The radar has said there's a mass over here. Let's take that next step because we do need to heal. We do need to heal and move on from it because there are many other issues that Canada needs to face. So I'm of that mindset right now.
So are you using that kind of as evidence that maybe there isn't anything there and they're very aware of it by not going to take that step, not allowing the healing to happen whichever way it goes? Why would that be the case? Because it's very obvious to you and anybody else that puts a 2 cents into this one that would be the path forward. So why isn't it the path forward after all this time, do you think?
Not sure, to be honest.
Well, you're not a colonialist.
A colonist?
Colonist?
Well, no, I'm not, because
you're not white.
I've lived in
You're not a male.
I've lived in a colonial nation, Africa, Nigeria at the time. Although by the time I was born, the British had handed rule back to Nigeria. But my parents grew up in colonial Nigeria. My sister, the year I think my sister was born, they handed over to. Yeah, I'm not a colonizer.
Not of this country, but if you just express how your parents and your ancestors took over Nigeria.
No.
Oh, that's right. You're not British.
I'm not British.
Yeah.
I have the accent, but I'm not. I was only educated in England. No, I'm full-blooded Lebanese. Never had any British lineage in me. So no.
Sure. But yeah, so from that perspective, because you're seeing it differently, because I'm growing up and I'm being told that my background, my ancestors, all my roots and all that kind of stuff, and that's not true. Like the Levines, we didn't partake in the schools. We were lumberjacks, we were miners, we were leaders, we were business builders. So technically, like if you go through my line, all the way 1667. Mm-hmm. So that means when we put us together, you've been here for about 150 years or so, at least our children's history.
Yeah.
But you put it together. No, we didn't have any of that. It's kind of like in the U.S. where reparations should be paid by all whites for all blacks, but not all blacks have a history of being from those families, and not all whites have a history of being from those families.
Correct.
But yet they're broadening that conversation.
They're just painted with the same brush. Correct.
So do you think after a little bit more exposure to people like Corey and others like Jim, Jim, what's his last name? The teacher. You interviewed him. I showed you his post.
Oh, no. I know.
McMurray?
I'm sorry. I can't recall. But no, I see his face. Okay, I see his face.
Yeah.
But look, I don't know. I do have a curiosity on why haven't ground been dug, ground been broken. I am curious after all these years, because this has been a conversation that's been going on for decades now. So I am curious. So I don't know. I don't know if someone really does want to rip the Band-Aid off because the wound has healed underneath, or there wasn't a wound to begin with. I don't know.
Sorry, keep talking. What did you say?
Yeah. Oh, well, and actually, so while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and do this. So this is a little segue here, folks. I wanted to congratulate Shane. Sorry, Shane. I know I'm going to butcher your name. Shane Horlock.
Shane.
But yeah, Shane is he's the owner of the Breton Tire and Tow here in town, but he's also celebrating his 20 years of service to the Drayton Valley Brazeau County Fire Services. So thank you very much, Shane, for supporting the community, being there for the community.
And changing our tires.
Well, he doesn't. He's got people that do that. But no, thank you very much, Shane. And yeah, thanks for your service. Greatly appreciate it.
McMurty. Look at the screen.
Hold on. McMurty, yes.
McMurty. Okay, yeah. So you interviewed him. You spent a lot of time with him.
Yeah.
Talked about the subject that got him in trouble. He lost his career over pushback and asking for evidence on this. So back to my question before our firefighter hero Shane jumped in. What are your thoughts now? So you came in and said how awful. Now you're hearing a lot more people asking for proof. You've interviewed somebody. You had a conversation with Corey yesterday. As you look at Jim's timeline here, it's all basically about this subject. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I am curious, like I said, on why haven't we broken some ground in some locations. So yeah, I think it's time in this time that we live in where there's lots of information. And when there's lots of information out there and people are exposing stuff, now's not really the time to keep quiet because, again, let's address it. I think it's important.
Well, I think each month that goes by, each time they find another one or claim to have found another one, and use those words correctly,
Yeah.
it's just adding more proof in my mind that there's nothing there. The more that we're told to shut up and just accept it, just like every other narrative subject, just accept that men can be women, safe and effective, and now white man bad. Every time that there's a push like this, and we're just
Yeah.
told to accept it without evidence and can't ask questions, like all these check marks are done, it just instinctively now just deny it. I'm like, no way, this is not true. There's a lot of subjects that are very sensitive historically and even recent that we can get into. You can ask questions, you can have inquiries because the proof is there. There's certain subjects that can get you into a lot of trouble if you deny it, but there's also a lot of proof. There's a group that will deny it. And no, I'm not talking about flat earth, but similar to that. Like there's some subjects out there that is very well proven to have happened. This isn't one of them. This isn't one of the subjects that's been very well proven to have happened. So now that we're spending more time on this, I'm sure we'll have Jim on because Jim was traveling yesterday, so we couldn't get him on. We'll have him on in the near future as well because he's a little bit more in your face about it because he's had to suffer consequences just talking about it as a teacher. And Corey is a good reporter and he's been more bold and brazen about it, like you said. But look, this subject can't go away until we heal one way or the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was curious as your perspective.
Yeah. So there's a comment here in our from Brother T. Great to see you, Brother T, in our local chat. I believe that the problem is that burial sites are considered, but we're not looking at like the whole.
Burial sites are considered.
Well, I think maybe like the cemeteries, because there would be a cemetery by the schools, but they're not seeing the full extent of. Because I've seen some issues of that where, there's a cemetery next to this school, and there's more bodies there.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of at church is where a lot of bodies exist. Full stop. And like we said briefly yesterday, that children died at a younger age, and many more children died back then. It wasn't the systems we have here, where most children absolutely live. Some died. A lot of them died. And there could be children's bodies there for sure, because it's a church. It doesn't necessarily mean it was native. It doesn't necessarily mean it was abuse or murder or anything like that. Now, another narrative I heard pop up recently is you won't find the bodies because they burnt them. They're saying that they burnt them now. And they're saying that the furnaces were always used for that. It's like, okay, so now you're preconditioning us for finding nothing, but still keeping that narrative going.
Yeah.
So I'm just skeptical on that one. I just can't. I do believe that bad things happen. I do believe that some of the nuns and other people were abusive. I believe that because we still had abuse even today. But I don't believe that there is this mass attempt to hide murders. That I don't believe. That's where I kind of draw the line. And I don't believe it should be used to take away property, burn down churches, and chastise or condemn an entire group of people. I don't think the evidence is there for that. So that's my little rant on that one. So we already had Melissa McKee ask a question about John Carpe, and it's true. It is true. Let me go ahead and bring this up. So you didn't get the news yesterday. John Carpe, our good friend, and he'll be on Friday. So we already had him scheduled because they dropped the reports today about COVID. A new report exposes COVID policy failures and rising unexplained deaths. So we already had John booked for Friday to come on. But yesterday we got the news that John in Alberta has been disbarred. At first I saw this news. It was in that Thomas, you just saw his name.
Lukasik?
Yeah, his group, his little Facebook group, and it posted there. And I thought, okay, well, then they're just trying to smear the guy. But I did go to the Law Society of Alberta's website and I did pull it up myself. Yes, sure enough, September 2nd. Not sure of the reasons. They list here failing to discharge all his responsibilities to his client, tribunals, and public and other members of the profession honorably and with integrity. I've known this guy for quite some time. I found him to be with high integrity. So I'm not sure what this is relating to, but this seems like a catch-all, the type of way to get rid of a lawyer that you're not happy with as a profession, because discharge all responsibilities is very broad. And they're also broadening it more by saying clients, tribunals, the public, and the whole profession.
All of the above.
Everything. So it's a very, very, very broad allegation here. I haven't dug into it. Friday's episode isn't about this, but I'm sure it's going to come up. But what I did find as a coincidence was they do that, and then the very next day, Justice Center releases a report. The report was not a surprise. We knew about it. That's why they reached out for us to book them to talk about the report. So it's not like nobody knew the report was coming out. They probably even shared the drafts with a bunch of groups to let them know, especially if they're named or anything like that. And then boom, they disbar them. So I call this a coincidence with a big question mark. I'm asking the public, what do you think? Because will this now, at least with some in the public, defuse this report?
Right.
Because just like a lot of the doctors that come out and talk, the first thing people will say is, well, they lost their license, so don't listen. Well, they didn't lose their intelligence. Okay? They just lost their government approval. Okay. And especially when they're talking against the government approval should be one of the hurdles that needs to be passed. So are they doing that? Are they trying to water down this report? Did they have to do it yesterday?
Yeah, take away the credibility.
And what is the real problem here? So anyway, so Friday, mark your calendars, and John will join us at 7:30 Mountain, 9:30 Eastern to first talk about this report, because that's the headline here.
Correct.
The headline here. So go and read this report. It's all about not just, so the Alberta government, they did, we in the colloquial sense, the colonizer sense, we released a report that said the response had some problems and it shouldn't be given to children and pregnant women. There's a couple other recommendations, but it was really focused on the response. The JCCF has taken a step further. They've also are going to expose some of the policy failures, so at the government level, but the unexplained deaths, the rising unexplained deaths. I'm not a fan of the term unexplained. We know what it's pretty explained.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. But so I find it to be a coincidence. This report was well known within the media circles, and boom, they released that yesterday. I think it's to diffuse the information here, distract, discredit. But he has been disbarred, Melissa. Yeah. In Alberta. I'm not sure if he has a license in Ontario or another province or not, but in Alberta, he's been disbarred.
Yeah.
So that's unfortunate. Today is the beginning of Detective Helen Bruce's matter, her sentencing. So we're just going to be full of great news this week. Donald Best, we should be recording something with him today to kind of get a breakdown of the first day. And the goal is to bring Donald Best's perspective. I think a 10-minute video or so. We will bring it to you tomorrow if we can connect with him. He's a busy man while he's in Ottawa. But if you're at this hearing, Vincent Gertzi, Melissa, I hope you go there right after this, or maybe you're standing outside right now. But this is an important one for Canada,
right?
For policing, for truth. And she's just a wonderful woman. She doesn't have to be going through this.
Agreed. Absolutely agreed. And this should be other than the sentencing from the hearing. This is like the last time they're going to be heading into court or the tribunal.
No, on that level, there's definitely going to be appeals and judicial reviews, because this is not court.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, that's right. It's not court.
This is basically an employment issue. It's not a criminal issue. This is her employer running it themselves with their people to go ahead and say, like they don't like her and they should not disbar her, but dismiss her. And it's not even the police association level. It's not a provincial level. It's the Ottawa Police Services prosecuting an Ottawa police officer using Ottawa Police Services resources and retired personnel. Yeah. So once you get out of that arena, you can get into the courts, the actual courts. So that certainly is going to be the next thing. I am fully aware, and it's very public, that appeals are already being drafted and judicial reviews are coming. They have to wait for the sentencing to be done
Done.
so that they can kick off the next stage. So I'm sure we'll have in the coming weeks more information about that, because I highly expect this to be rough.
Yeah.
And I highly expect, because the prosecution is going for this to remove her employment, so dismiss her. That's what they want. I feel bad for all the police services. They're going to lose a good one.
Well, that's the thing, yeah, when you say is that's what they want. Really, is it? Because she's currently employed. Like the powers that be to make an example of her, probably that's what they want. But the actual people she works with, probably they just wanted to keep working because that's what she's been doing.
Well, I think that this is about, like, my information is about half is of the upper level. Of the police force itself, it's like 80-20 support her, 80% support her. The brass level, the upper level, is about half and half. Like, it's a very divisive issue within there. And the only reason she's working now is because he can't stop paying her. So they're going to make her work during this entire thing. She'd be with pay. They can't just take her pay away. So they just put her into robbery. May as well get something from her while she's going through all of this. She's a fantastic police officer. But yeah, so we're expecting, and it's a 3-day hearing, sentencing hearing. So we're expecting this not to go good. Now, don't expect the answer immediately.
That's right.
These are submissions. It's not like on day 3, the decision will come out. The decision is going to be written by someone else, and he's going to sign it. That's my assumption on that one. It's an assumption, it's an opinion, so put away your defamation lawsuits.
Yeah.
But that's what I've noticed, because he's not a highly intelligent, legally trained person.
Yes, he's not legally trained.
Okay, but he comes out with a lot of legalese only in writing, not verbal. So whether he's got a ghostwriter or not, who knows? I wonder what Vanessa's up to lately. But in either case, that's what we're expecting to happen. Submissions, a pause, a delay, some sort of period of time, and then a written decision posted on the website and given to the CBC. That's what I'm expecting to see here.
Okay.
Corey did another post. Just follow this guy if you haven't yet. All right. So Corey B. Morgan. He's all over X. This is our Thomas guy again. Lusakic.
Yeah, Lukasek.
Lukasek. Like, my brain and my tongue with my
Eastern European names, I admit I have problems with as well. It's not something I've encountered a lot.
Yeah, I'm just bad with it. It's my list. I blame that. I want to kind of try to remember this guy's name because it will be helpful, but Little Tommy, as Jeff Rath puts it.
Yeah.
Looks like his petition might be already DOA. So before his time's up, he is not providing a lot of updates. He's not bragging. He needs like 300,000.
He needs a lot.
He actually needs like 400,000 in case a lot of them are no good. Correct. He needs 300 valid signatures to get this forward. There is no tally. He's not pushing it out there as successful at this stage. Now, Corey is kind of analyzing the situation a bit here because he's saying you got to look at his motivations. Corey believes that he is just data mining a bunch of people that would support him, and he may be trying to resurrect the Alberta Progressive Conservative Party, which is another term for woke, because progressive and conservative shouldn't be put together at all. It never should have been. People should have woke up pretty quickly to that. It's a oxymoron, contradicting terms. But anyways, he was part of the PC Party of Alberta. He was a deputy premier at one point, and Corey believes he's trying to just collect enough people to create a party. And his indicator on this is the NDP is not supporting the petition. Now, the NDP would be somebody supporting it if it was just about Forever Canada.
Yes.
If it was about staying in Canada, all the parties want to keep that because they love the Westminster system. It works well for them. They get power every once in a while. But they're not as active in supporting his petition. He's active in supporting their position. Like, he will post their position against the APP one. But the NDP themselves aren't telling their members to go and support this. And it could be because maybe Corey's right about it. Maybe he has no intention of actually having a petition. He just wants to bring back a new party, and this is how he's going to build his membership. These are just analysis from the outside, not allegations. We're not saying he's doing that because he is a lawyer.
Yes.
Okay. But it does look like, from Corey's perspective, because the NDP isn't behind this initiative, which they normally would be if it was just about staying within Canada. So maybe he's on something. And I love his last line here. The NDP don't want a new leftist party for me. So
yeah, exactly.
so that's what a progressive conservative party in Alberta would look like. It would be a left party, maybe slightly right of the NDP, but close enough to catch COVID. All right, so a couple more minutes to our big man. So here's our topic for today from Dacey Media. Chris Dacey, the world famous Chris Dacey. He's all over the place. He's even on Conservative Vibes. We're proud when I see the work of people we know on that show. Conservative Vibes is a funny show, but it's bringing politics, the silliness of it, and bringing it forward. And if you're a conservative, you'll laugh. If you're a leftist, you'll cry. It's one of those kind of formats. We first saw Josh Bigger on there because he adds a 25% penalty or surcharge for Liberals roofs that he has to work on. So that made it onto the show once, and we're like, hey, we know Josh.
Yeah, we know him.
But this one was Chris Dacey when he was exposing the Queer for Palestine blocking the Pride Parade in Ottawa. And you can hear Chris's voice in there, and you see part of his logo because Buddy's face is on there. So proud of Chris. He reached out yesterday because we got some news, and we got to really help somebody here. Thanks for say that name again.
Saba,
right. And Chris provides some videos, and we're going to get into that in about 3 minutes, Chris, because one of the things that our side of truth, not necessarily a freedom side or a conservative side or a wake side, the true side has to do is come together to help make sure the truth comes out. And here's another example. There's another going into 3 years court case. This is the trucker who was pulled from his truck on video and beaten. He's still fighting for his justice in the courts. And September 7th, when the ban on entering Ottawa will be lifted. So good. So he'll be able to be in Ottawa September 8th. His trial starts. So cute. So they banned him until his trial starts. 3-day trial on Monday. So Melissa, I'm sure you're well aware of this. Please be there. And he's got to now fight for some freedom. Part of the challenge here is we've got to raise money. We always have to raise money. They're against the taxpayer's purse when they're in court. There is no taxpayer-funded defenses in any of this. Yeah. So Chris reached out. It was weird. I was sitting there going, who are we going to have on tomorrow? And then the phone rings. It's Chris. And this is great. We need to support this man. Make sure that people don't forget about him. Right. And he's had to retain lawyers and fight for his justice. So thanks to Chris who brought this forward, and we'll bring him on in 1 minute. And then, of course, we're still running for office. It's now gotten real. Paula has competition. Dun, dun, dun. Her competition is the wife of my competition. Yes. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun. So church is going to be awkward, I think, going forward, because we all go to the same church. But out of the blue, the wife of my competition, Dallas Ekstrom.
Ekstrom. I believe how
his wife, Holly, has put her hat in the ring against Paula for the school board trustee. So it's Levines and Ekstrom on two parts of the ballot. Yeah, there you go. So this will be interesting and fun. I'm all for best candidate, best person win. Let's all go ahead and have a campaign. Let's let the truth come out because that's what I would be pushing for in council is transparency, honesty, accountability. And I'm just going to have to get all my ducks in a row and demonstrate that to my neighbors. And if that's something that they want is less corruption and more truth, then we should have a good campaign. Yep. And for me, it's making sure that we're there to make sure we're promoting good education and good environments for the kids, great school board to be putting that education and future for them forward. Yeah. And competition usually brings out the best. Oh, yeah. Right. So it's a good thing. Like if it was just acclaimed, you don't know if you got the best person because it was acclaimed. So, let's go ahead and get out there, talk to our neighbors, see what they're looking for, what they're expecting, and demonstrate to them what we're about. So kind of look forward to that. Actually, I dreamed about it last night. Weird. We're in the olden days. The olden days, days of yore. Yeah. I had the old tie and all that kind of stuff. It was a really weird dream, but it told me to keep going. So I keep going. On that note, let me bring in the star of the hour, Mr. Dacey himself. Good morning. How are you doing? Chris.
Good morning. Long time. Thanks for making room for me on short notice.
No
Oh, for
worries.
you, you're a star, man. You're like everywhere. We can't get away from you now. We're on YouTube watching stuff, and there's Chris Dacey popping up with the breaking news. Congratulations. Over the last couple months, your career has taken off. You're getting international recognition. People are paying attention. I think it really started before then, especially when you were the guy that got the video of Trudeau's final goodbye type of thing. And even before then, because you're the only one really in the streets taking the beatings and having your phone stolen from you in order to get the truth out there. So congratulations. The last little bit, you've really you've gone up a couple rungs for sure.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. Yeah, I think I've really been able to fill a niche here. Really, there's a severe lack of coverage on a number of issues. The mainstream legacy media doesn't ask the hard questions, so there's an opportunity there. But as well as this protest scene in Ottawa that's been ongoing for quite a long time, there's a complete lack of coverage there. So I've really found my niche, I think, and I'm starting to get my legs under me, and I'm feeling good. Things are moving forward well. So I look forward to the future here.
And how's Right Blend doing, Jonathan? He's also in there as well. He does great coverage of the courtroom. So between the two of you, you guys kind of have a lot of Ottawa covered now.
Yeah, and I mean we have some real complementary skill sets. I think he's a real smart young man, and he's got such an incredible knowledge base. He's so well spoken. He's been working really hard. He's getting his studio upgraded and upping the production quality. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what he has coming forward. Also, he's working on kind of a longer, almost like a documentary. Him and I sat down. He interviewed Mike Rood, Sergeant Rood from the Rood Awakening. He's got quite an incredible story, so that's going to be something really interesting to keep an eye on coming out. Really looking forward to seeing that.
Great.
We're seeing a lot of that, and I don't want to brag it, but that's what we're doing as well. We upgraded our studio, better quality. We're meeting people in person, so you're seeing this independent journalism kind of take up a few more notches as well. We're doing Dan Hartman one. We just did Chris Shoemaker and David Speaker. We're putting a lot more effort into that. I think that is the future, and I think you being part of that is also the future of that. We have Donald Best right now in Ottawa, Canada, covering Bruce, and we got you all over Ottawa. So are you optimistic that media is starting to become more accepted, more mainstream, to use that term, when it comes to truth?
Yeah, and I think more and more people are watching all the time. The legacy media certainly don't do themselves any favors, right? The more biased headlines and the way you see things are spun, they're certainly not doing themselves any favors. And as we're getting our legs under, like you say, we're upgrading our production. We're learning as we go, right? I don't know about you, but I got into this completely unplanned. So I'm still upgrading. I need some better mics. I need a few things, but we're getting there, and we're gonna fill that niche. People want to hear truth. And the honest people and the people who are doing this right, I think, will rise to the top, and that's been happening. And the other thing that's been happening is we've been networking. So at this point, kind of 3 years in for me, our networks are pretty strong. I can make one phone call and we can put together some pretty cool stuff. And when stories need to get out, we really have the opportunity and the ability to get them out, not only Canada wide but internationally at this point. So that's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And that second part about the networking and building a network together behind the scenes on X, on text messages, phone calls, whatever, that's one of the most powerful things. And that's something I know you've been a proponent of for quite some time. You'll work with anybody. You'll even work with mainstream if they need it. And I think that's important. Like we got our stuff on CBC Edmonton. No, we're not part of that. We're not getting any of that money. They took our video. No, they didn't even pay us for it, which, by the way, I learned is not right. But in either case, we're breaking into even the legacy side of things because you're right. Nobody's there with the camera covering the stuff. And from time to time, they actually need it. And their camera wasn't there. So you're seeing that happen to you as well?
Yeah, definitely. I have quite a few I guess people in media, journalists, print media or online media now, and all kinds of people follow me. So, when I put something out and it's of note, I'll notice very quickly, that some major people will start sharing it and whatnot. And that's just an indication that people are looking at what I'm doing. Right. So there's been a whole bunch of things that have happened here that if I didn't cover it, there wouldn't be widespread coverage at all. So I'm very glad I was able to provide that coverage.
Yeah, us too. And I was kind of looking up our first episode because you said, look, I didn't know about you guys, but you wasn't really prepared. Our first video literally starts off with, is this live? Are we live? Oh, I think you're on the screen. And then she runs out of the screen. And then there we go. I was covering the POEC at that point. Yeah, no, none of us went to a school to learn how to do any of this. We all started with like 1080p pixelated webcams and moved our way up as we built things and learned things, and some hard lessons too. You're the type of guy too that when you make a mistake, you'll say, "Hey, I made a mistake." It doesn't happen often, but that's something you see a lot with the independent journalists, not so much the mainstream. And another thing I've noticed that we don't see a lot of with the independent journalists are whistleblowers coming out of independent journalism. Like my wife will never come out and say, Jason made me say this and that, and I actually don't believe that. And there are bodies on the ground, stuff like that. That won't happen because we're very honest and open and independent here. But you're seeing that a lot more on mainstream. You're seeing people come out of the mainstream and whistleblow and say it was all narrative, it was all agenda driven, and this is wrong. I felt it was wrong, and this is why I'm leaving. We've seen several people like that come out.
Yeah, more and more of that happening, and we'll probably see more of that as legacy media is kind of in its in its final days or final years, hopefully days. We'll probably see more of that and more of the truth. Yeah, more of the truth come out in that regard. As far as your first comment, that I started out kind of doing this unplanned and on Facebook mainly, and it was kind of just me showing my perspective, and the whole way along, it's basically been me. And for at least personally, that's been incredibly self-corrective for me. Like everything I do is right out there in the world. People react good and bad to everything I do. So, I pay attention to that. I don't pay attention to all of it or take it all at the same level, but I do pay attention. So when I make a mistake or I do something that leaves me open to attack, it's very obvious, and I think about that stuff and I try to correct when necessary. So it's been quite helpful in that regard for me.
Just as a side note, I want to be saying that you self-correct and you've been working on this. So Pietro from our locals chat, he's a very courageous reporter. With all the abuse he receives, he's still able to hold himself very professionally. So well done.
Absolutely.
I try. I've kind of hit on that before too, and it's getting easier. But because of the way I started in this and my personal involvement in the convoy and some of the personal trauma I've been through, it's been hard at times, right, to separate the emotion from the job. And just with more repetition and by putting myself in that position, it gets easier. I learn every time. That trigger, that adrenaline, it's easier to deal with each time. And I've kind of found an area where most of the time I'm pretty level headed. I have my moments still, but I'm working on it, like I said.
And the other thing that comes with the territory is recognition. You're being recognized all over the streets. And every once in a while, when you're doing like a pride thing or you're doing some sort of Palestinian thing, the crowd gets so nice. They want to block the wind for you by surrounding you with flags and make sure that you're nice and cuddled and comfortable and you're not getting any wind issues, right? Like you're recognized now when you get out there. Like there's Dacey, and there's really two sides. We love you, and here's our flag right in front of your camera. So you've seen that happen too.
Yeah, and I mean at this point, see, this started happening when previous protest groups. There's a lot of intersection at these things. So some of the Antifa types and extreme left wing protesters are involved in these Palestinian protests, and almost immediately some of the main players in that identified me as an enemy to them. And at this point, I could be 100, 200 feet away, and these people love me so much that, like you say, they'll jump out of the crowd and come at me no matter where I am, wrap me with flags and tap me nicely on the cell phone or on the head, or gentle love taps with the flagpole, what have you. But this happens pretty much immediately. So people kind of say like, well, try to talk to them, but like I can't really go close to them at this point without it becoming fairly dangerous fairly quick.
But the police protect you, right?
Yeah.
All has comedy too.
Yeah, I mean, by protection, they threatened to arrest me and drag me out of there for my own safety.
There you go, for your own safety. Thank you.
Extent of the protection. Yeah. We're going to drag you out of here and charge you if you don't leave because it's you're infuriating a bunch of criminals.
Yeah, but going back to the community that's around you and us and people that work hard like we do, when you got attacked and your cell phone was stolen, you saw the outpouring of support and love and concern. It was immediate. And this is also one of the, we don't do it for that purpose. We're not doing it to be recognized or supported. We're doing it because we believe the truth needs to get out and there's no other way. But one of the benefits is you do have a great community around you now. Yeah,
and it's heartening to see that, like you said, when I got taken down there by, I got jumped and I got hurt pretty bad. My cell phone was gone, and it was a pretty tough day. It was right around my birthday too. It was really not a pleasant time. Police were completely unhelpful, and almost immediately, right after that, actually, I filmed a quick wedding here, and I headed right down to meet Tamara Litch for a benefit concert for Sean Hartman. And within a matter of not much time at all kinds of people had come together and make sure I was okay. I had my phone replaced. So in the midst of doing all these other things, the community came together to rally behind me as well. As I was going down to try to support Sean and Dan Hartman. That's just indicative of the kind of community that we have. I've heard it said lots of times, but no one gets left behind. And in my experience, no one has been left behind so far.
And that kind of leads us into why we're here today, because we can't leave anybody behind. We have a soldier who's taken some hits, literally, and we'll get into the videos that you sent me. But let's go ahead and talk about why we're here today, Chris, because it's not to necessarily, I saw you on TV, let's get you on. It was because something's happening September 8th.
Yeah, it wasn't about me at all, actually, this time, or most times. So Saba, there's been so many cases where we're like 3 years out, more now at this point. There's been a lot of, some of them get a lot of coverage and a lot of talk, like Tamara and Chris and others. But there's another guy we know well, and many people may remember his story when they see these videos. But Saba Vizzi was a trucker who was down here during the convoy, and he's Romanian, so he's been in Canada for a long time. He escaped some pretty nasty stuff to come here, and he felt the need to stand up and fight back a little bit about the tyranny going on here. And he really paid a price in Ottawa. He was violently beaten by police. He was trying to surrender peacefully and was beaten violently. He's now waited over 3 years here to get to trial, incurred an incredible amount of cost. He's incurred some pretty nasty injuries from that arrest. So we just wanted to share the story and let people know that there's still people out there fighting. Actually, this video here was something I looked up when I was looking up Saba. I found this quite quickly. This is Drew McGilvery of V4F at an event that Saba attended. So Saba has been supporting basically everyone. He's got a big red truck called Caesar. And I've probably been to 15 or 20 events that Saba was at personally. So ever since the convoy, facing all the issues that he's had, he's been out supporting every single person that he could along the way as well. So I thought it was fitting to maybe show this. And this is Drew McGilvery of V4F thanking Saba for what he's done.
Another one of the heroes, Drew McGilvery.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Shaba. So I said this to Shaba when I was at an event with him in North Bay. Me as a veteran, we get a lot of the people saying, thank you for your service and, thank you for the service to the country and that sort of thing. But with Shaba and the truckers, when I was up in North Bay, it wasn't veterans who got together and protest against the government. It wasn't, doctors or any of the other people. It was the truckers who gave a swift and strong uppercut to the government to let them know that what they were doing wasn't okay. So Shaba, thank you for your service to our country and all the truckers out there, because if it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here right now. So thank you very much.
You can see there he's such a humble guy. He's never come out and looked for the spotlight. He supported everyone, but he was never out there. And it's just as you see him there, probably not real thrilled that we're even going out talking about him. He's that humble of a guy, but he deserves all the praise he gets, and that's high praise from Drew from V4F. So.
Yeah, no, and Drew and V4F, here's my cup. I still support them. Drew kind of stepped away a little while ago, but V4F still going strong. And this is another thing that came out of the movement, the trucker movement, was a lot of organizations that kind of came up and said, we're going to put in our efforts to better Canada, serve Canada in another way. The way kind of Drew put it right there. Thank you, Saba, for the service. But it's getting rough. It's really getting rough. Now, one of the things that the truckers did was got international attention. Okay, and I think that really helped Canada expose what was going on at that time against the government. Tucker Carlson and many others started to pick up the story. And I believe that's why they came down so hard, because what was happening in Canada was going to start happening in the US. They had to make an example out of everybody. That's why they came down so hard with the guns and the boots and the beatings, including what Saba got. So I think this is all kind of tied together. So when international media, US media was picking it up, I think that's what kind of triggered the White House at the time, which would have been sleepy Joe Biden, to go ahead and start doing pressure on Canada, Trudeau, international, all of this. I even believe the WEF, they were upset with the border being blocked. This is what kind of caused that overreaction, the violent overreaction by our government. So I believe Saba here is on Tucker. You want to kind of let us know what this one's about?
Yeah, so this is, I mean, you're right. This did absolutely garner international attention. It was the story of the world for quite some time, and you know that cannot be allowed from the Liberal government. So dissent had to be crushed. But here's Saba telling a little bit of his story to Tucker. Just a warning to people: it's a little emotional and a little tough to watch. Nothing's too graphic, but if you have little ones, maybe they shouldn't watch.
Okay. The video that we showed appears to have you surrendering peacefully to the police. And then the next we see, you're being kneed in the ribs by Justin Trudeau's men. Did you fight them?
No, sir, not at all. I get down from my truck. I went down right on my knee. I put my hands behind my head, and I was waiting them to take me away. So in that moment, the police officer, they start to push me with those sticks. They was yelling to me, go back. And I just told them, hey, I'm the driver. Then suddenly somebody yelled, arrest him. So they dragged me in. They lie me down on my belly. I don't recall how many of them they was on top of me. They was squeezing the air slowly. I feel like I was beaten, but I took it like a man. So
good for you. At least someone's behaving like a man. You seem to be having trouble breathing. I could hear it through my earpiece. Were you injured by this?
Yes, they break my body a little bit, but not my spirit.
Not your spirit. Is this now? So you lived, if I got it right, under Ceausescu in Romania. Did you expect this kind of behavior in the formerly free nation of Canada?
No, sir, not at all. When I moved to Canada, you know, everything was wonderful. People, they are talking with you on the street without knowing you, like asking you, hey, how are you? You know, I never experienced stuff like that before. So I was like so happy. I said, geez, that's so nice. You know, everything was beautiful in Canada in the last 20 years. I can say that the last 2 years, it's like impossible to live here anymore.
Well, we hope you'll come to this country, which is, whatever its problems, freer than Canada. And video that we showed.
That one comment gets me each time from Tucker, the formerly free nation of Canada. He's very right about that. And this was one of the things that I saw a lot of when Viva Frei and others were interviewing people on the street during this, were people that came to Canada to escape communism or dictatorships or just a horrible place like Romania for this gentleman. And they came here for freedom. And then they're seeing the same thing starting to happen. The signs, you know, stop taking away your guns, and they are taking away your speech, and they are taking away dissent, and they are really coming after people. They saw the same signs, and they were trying to warn us all. Some of us paid attention, but I don't think enough paid attention. So I'm really glad that you're bringing forward Saba again. It's too bad he's still in the court. But no, I think this is something Canada has to pay attention to, because this gentleman knows this is a dictatorship 2.0 for him.
Yeah, and that was a fairly common theme actually with people I met throughout the convoy. A lot of people from Eastern Europeans, former Soviet bloc countries were down. In a huge number, tons of Polish too. There's a large Polish community in Ottawa, but lots of Polish, lots of Eastern European people that had lived under communism and remembered it, as well as even Chinese people as well that had lived under that communism. So people who have grown up and experienced that, they identify it immediately, right? That they know these things follow a common pattern. So they're not so hard to identify, particularly for people who have lived them. You know, what stuck out so bad for me, in that little piece there, it's hard to watch still after all this time, though, is Saba saying they what they say, they broke my body, but not my spirit, something along those lines. It's absolutely, I mean, it's true, but holy cow.
Yeah, no, and I remember seeing that. I think it was even live, seeing those shots. And
yeah,
was that from the shed, that video?
I don't remember where that one particularly was, but there was a few instances where there was live feeds going. I remember I saw it afterwards because I was actually down there. most of the time. So afterwards, I saw some of the streams, but I do recall seeing one where the live stream was going, and I think there was smoke they were coming through, and they were kind of beating people, and the police went in and shut everything down on the live stream. You kind of watched that. Not sure if that was this video. I think this was a little farther down Wellington, maybe, but regardless, the video went out, and good thing it was saved because people need to know what happened here. That was a peaceful man surrendering himself peacefully to police, and he was absolutely beaten mercilessly.
Shameful.
Yeah, and it still haunts me, the video of in the shed, because there's a camera inside the shed.
Yes, that's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah, and you can see the stormtroopers coming up, working their way around, trying to figure out how to shut things off. Like their priority at that point was to stop the evidence and the troops getting out. And it was just scary to see guys coming into an unoccupied area. There's just equipment streaming. I think a Starlink as well. And they went to shut it down. Yeah, I still remember that moment too.
Yeah, thank goodness there was as many cameras as they were, and that live feed that was set up, the trouble that they went to do that documented a lot of very important stuff. And there was enough people down there with cameras. Luckily, that we have pretty good accounting of what happened for people who are willing, I guess, to watch it. For people that don't know as well, I should probably mention that I don't know if you remember the documentary Unacceptable. It came out maybe even 2 years ago now. It was a fairly well received documentary. Chris Barber, a number of people were involved, but Saba was interviewed in that as well. We've talked to one of the producers of that, and I think he's going to maybe put together a little video. But there's some really good stuff of Saba's story in there. So for people that haven't seen it, I highly recommend you try to find that documentary Unacceptable and see what Saba had to say in there. I watched one of the screenings with him, and I was sitting beside him, and I could barely hold it together watching it. So it's a hard story to watch, but it's a very important one.
I think it's time to remind everybody about that. So maybe we should bring it forward at some point, rebroadcast it. Now, there was something we were talking about doing yesterday. So in the very near future, there needs to be more funds. This is part of what the community has to do, unfortunately. And there's a lot of people that still don't trust fundraising. They don't trust that the government isn't going to get involved, freeze accounts, shut them down. So far, since 2022, it's been pretty safe and pretty effective, especially when you do direct funds via email, that kind of stuff. It's a little bit, we haven't seen it happen again, is what I'm getting at. And at this time, maybe some people can be a little bit less worried about the government knowing about them supporting, because we need to support people like Saba. So coming up and in their future, are you going to release a post? Are we going to get an email address so we can help support Saba?
Yeah.
Or how can we get more involved?
Yeah, so I just jumped on this yesterday. I'm going to have an email address for direct, so we can support directly, and I'll have another post coming further with that, and trying to finalize a few things and bring a few people on board. But I think it would be a good idea that we try to do kind of a little online fundraiser and bring some people in to talk about Saba and what's gone on, and see if we can't raise a few bucks to make this a little bit easier on Saba. He's been through physical hell, emotional hell, and he's still got a bit of a way to go. So if we can come in and support him emotionally and maybe a little bit financially, I'd really like to see what we can do.
Yeah,
That's great.
And he's not the type that wants to be in front of the camera. Like you can see, he was uncomfortable with Tucker too.
Yeah, I mean, he's such a humble guy, and probably right now he really can't be on camera much. He's still got his trial. The trial is starting Monday, so there's still a bit of a ways to go. Trial, then there's the sentencing submissions, and then waiting for sentencing. So he's still got a bit of a ways to go. But just because he can't talk yet, he will be allowed to come back to Ottawa. So that'll probably be a pretty emotional thing, particularly for him. It's been a long time, and I've been with quite a few people who came back for the first time, especially ones facing court, and that's always a bit of a roller coaster. So we'll make sure there's some people around for support. But just because he can't talk and can't be involved yet doesn't mean we can't. So we can share the story while he's still caught up in this, and make sure that people understand and know what's happened here and what's still happening here.
Yeah, and I see that Right Blend is watching. Hey, Jonathan. Let's see if we can do something with you guys next week to bring Jonathan, you on, carry the story a little bit more, update people, and maybe find a couple hours where we can kind of do a little bit of a telethon or online-a-thon or whatever they're called, to get some more support and awareness for Saba as he's going through this. Because I know Jonathan probably is going to cover this court stuff. I see the Bikers Church hat on your head. I'm sure they're going to be involved in some capacity, hospitality, support, love. So yeah, maybe even Melissa, I know you watch all the time. Maybe we should bring you guys back next week to kind of talk on this some more.
Yeah, and I've already put out some feelers. I know I've got a couple of people that are already definitely on board for having a nice talk and seeing what we can do. So I can maybe organize that end, and if you can do the producing end or host, then I think that would work perfect.
Yeah, we'd
We
be
can
more
put
than
out
happy
some
to be involved.
Yeah, once we figure out the detail, like it's been less than 24 hours here. So once we figure out a few more details and get the logistics and everything sorted out, then we'll post something that's a little more concrete about what we're doing and when.
Yeah, we're on it. We're gonna do everything we can on our end, and anytime, Chris. And you've been wonderful, especially you
I
reached
thought
out
of
to
you
let us
immediately.
know.
Yeah, I thought of you immediately. I know, like we have pretty deep Rolodexes at this point, but I know you've done some of this stuff before in the past, and you've brought some incredible people together, and I know you've been able to help quite a few people out. So thought of you immediately.
Yeah, no, I think we're blessed. I think we have some divine intervention when it comes to connecting people, bringing them together. I also wanted to thank you for bringing to our attention the Wiggum story, the house burning down. You called us and you let us know right away that was going down. It took a little bit to confirm because she was pretty traumatized, but
Yeah.
thank you for being there for her as well. And Jonathan, thanks for grabbing that video. But that was another sad story that came out of your neck of the woods. There's a couple comments, I believe, here that follow us to share.
So first off, I just want to pop up here. Beyond emotional, I'll never forget what I watched. This is obviously related to the convoy. Saw it all on live feed. Still boggles my mind that this actually happened on Canadian soil to 2 Canadians. And that's the general consensus. Anytime the convoy comes up, footage of the convoy comes up, there's always that immediate response like, they're so proud that people arrived in Ottawa to stand up, and then just traumatized on what was actually then done to them by our Canadian government.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got both ends of the spectrum on that one. The pride, the love, and then you also have the trauma and the hate and everything between. And it was quite the roller coaster because we had Shoemaker's video, and he was talking about how they were doing speeches on Thursdays and Fridays, giving out that information. And then they shut down. I think it was on a Thursday. Came out with stormtroopers, so it was very quick how they came down with those boots. So it's quite the emotional roller coaster. It still hurts a lot of Canadians just to even think about it.
Yeah, Chris as well. People miss you on Facebook, and they're wondering when you're going to be able to get your Facebook page up and running again.
Yeah, I miss you guys too. Actually, I think it's highly unlikely I'll ever get back on. I'm completely locked out of Facebook and Messenger. I've been locked in an appeal screen since it happened. They kind of vaguely accused me of something to do with promoting weapons, drugs, dangerous goods, or something along those lines. I forget the verbiage exactly now. But I basically got locked down entirely. I can't create new accounts. I can't log in. I can't use Messenger. So I've lost contact with a lot of people that have been following, people I've gotten to know pretty well. So I miss you guys too. And losing Messenger has been difficult as well because I do a lot of communication on there. Been trying to find a way where somebody else could maybe post what I'm doing on there, but we don't want to get anyone else in trouble either, right? So we're trying to find ways around it. But as far as me getting back on, I don't think it's likely. There's no one to call. There's no one to contact, and I'm just in a limbo screen. I am still getting notifications though, just to taunt me once in a while, and getting. I think I have $2 worth of. If anyone's still subscribed, you can go and unsubscribe to me if that's possible, because I think I got like $10 worth of subscribers. So I get like a notification every month with a little tax receipt from the US, just to mess with me.
And Chris, I guess you weren't aware that the truth is a dangerous weapon. So probably what's going on there. There is some stuff in the works. There's stuff that I've invited you to that's still in the works. So there may be a new way to get on Facebook in the future. We're all correspondents and we're contributing. So they may see you back there in that capacity. And of course, you're on right now. So we'll be happy to have you back as well. But no, truth is a dangerous weapon in this country now.
Yeah, and it has been for a while. It's definitely something strange that happened. I've always been I've been banned off Facebook a few times or restricted, but my account had been in the green for ages. I was fully monetized, fully recommendable, like all green, and it was like they just did a switch. At the time, I was climbing quick. I was well over 50,000 followers. I think averaging about 1 million views a day for a number of months and climbing. So I was getting some pretty good traction on there, and maybe they didn't like that too much. So it is what it is, but it did focus me in a little bit more on the professional aspect. And I've been digging in on X, and doesn't matter what they do to me, I'm not going to stop. So come at me.
And on that note, this is a great comment here. Dacey is the one to follow. His reporting and videos are great. Wakes people up to what's going on in Canada.
Thank
Well
you,
done.
Donna. Well, Chris, we got to run, but let's have you back next week. Maybe bring Jonathan, Melissa. Let's keep the story going. And at some point, maybe Saba himself. But if there's a fundraiser, if we want to get together for a couple hours, get some more people together, I'm totally down. We'll make sure that that happens.
Yeah, much appreciated. And I'm just happy to get this story out a little bit. And we'll have lots more coming on Saba in the coming days and weeks. So thank you very much, Jason.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris.
Take care, Chris. Nice to see you again.
Paula.
And you take care.
Have I ever met your wife, Jason?
Yeah, I
You met Paula Jay.
was waiting for that. Yeah.
Inside joke. We'll get there, but take care, Chris. Have a good one, man.
Bye.
Bye.
And this is one of the better guys out there.
Oh, for sure.
He's really taken the licking, just like Saba. Took some of the hits for this country and is going to keep going. Yeah, they took his phone. I almost broke his nose or something like
No,
that.
I guess
but
it was
didn't break
that
his
whole
spirit.
situation was just disgusting, both from the crowd and from the police, just not even defending him and protecting him.
Yeah. So, folks, pay attention to Chris's ex and mine as well. We'll let you know what the next steps are. But yeah, we're still 3.5 years after the fact, still fighting.
Yep.
So thank you, Chris, for jumping on. Go follow Chris Dacey. And I also think it's there's another one for him. It might be Dacey Media. Let me just double check that before we let everybody go, because it's important. Because I think there was a second. Here we go. There was a second X.
Okay.
Let me just make sure.
And then while you're doing that, I'm going to say, if you like what we're doing, go ahead and subscribe to The Levine Show. And then if you want to become a member, go ahead to, there you go, thelevineshow.com.
Yep, and that is the correct one. So his X says Dacey Media with a blue check mark, and it's Chris Dacey on X.
Yep.
So go ahead and give him a follow. Well, thank you very much, babe.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today and being in the chat. Really appreciate it. Love the feedback and the interaction. So, but yeah, everyone have a fantastic day and see you tomorrow.
Thank you all for being here. Pay attention to the upcoming information. Cruise, Saba, CarPlay, all of these. It's important. Love you all very much, and God bless.